Ladies and gentlemen, on appeal, if not this Wednesday, Trump will eventually be victorious pertaining to the defamation case. And here's why. You go to the Wikipedia on this alleged crime, which, by the way, I think capital punishment should be attached to be I think it's the worst crime known to man in addition to ending someone's life. I would have no problem with capital punishment being the consequence. Okay? So that's where I'm coming from. But I also have a functioning mind and understand politics, and I understand the obsession, the apoplectic focus against Trump by the Democratic Party, media, New York Democrats in particular. Now, the person suing Trump could be telling the truth. The question, however, is in the Wikipedia page, and I think this is why you're going to have an appeal, even if the jury, because it's a New York jury, so you're going to have New York Democrats desperate to try to get Trump again. The problem, however, is that if you look at the Wikipedia page, it talks about late 1995 or early 1996. Whether or not that's a normal recollection, a normal time frame to recollect one of the most despicable, heinous, atrocious crimes, the most aside from ending someone's life in my mind, but the worst crime known to mankind. The same thing happened to Kavanaugh, and it's not just a murky timeline. It's not just a month, a day within a month, not just a week within a month. It is late 1995 or early 1996. I think that time frame will lead to an appeal. Now, again, I'm not this is a defamation case. We're not talking about the actual crime because Trump has never been charged, indicted, accused in a court of law, let's say. Arrested. He's never had anything to do with law enforcement or the court system or the justice system pertaining to that crime. After he ran for office, the majority of allegations against Trump took place. Okay, there were the same types of allegations against Biden, but of course Democrats tried to silence and disparage anyone who accused our current president of the same despicable behavior. I think that if you look at the Wikipedia page on this issue, late 1995 or early 1996, then you have a couple of articles talking about the spring of 1996. So, if you look, there are a couple of articles. So, I think that an NPR article, that's the issue, okay? That's the issue. The issue, ladies and gentlemen, is the timeline. The timeline, I think, just listening, I don't think Alan Dershowitz has talked about this case specifically, but if you listen to Jonathan Turley, Alan Dershowitz, Andrew McCarthy at the New York Post, they focus very much on the specifics of any case against Trump. And then they say, well, if there's no... The reason that he hasn't been charged with a litany obstruction of justice, classified data, all the things they're going after him on a phone call, which they'll probably... And then they indicted Trump, which was a catastrophe in New York. The reason that they can't get Trump is because he didn't commit a crime. So, it doesn't take 7 years to prove that someone who's a complete monster committed a crime. In this case, we're not even talking about the crime. We're talking about the defamation suit. It's difficult to prove defamation when you've made money on this, or I should say not on this, but you have to prove monetary damages. So we're talking about a crime that doesn't really have a date. It actually doesn't have a date. It has a window, according to Wikipedia, that spans late 1995, early 1996. That window of time should be able to protect Trump in a court of law from defamation. You can't defame somebody if you call somebody a liar about an alleged crime where there's no date associated with the alleged crime. So 5 minutes and 50 seconds into this, not saying that it categorically didn't happen, but there's no evidence of it taking place because there were no criminal charges leveled. You have to level criminal charges. You have to have evidence in this country. Okay, receipts, credit card receipts, hotel, receipts. Something. You have to have receipts. You have to have, some kind of business or, personal interaction, relationship, that type of thing in this type of situation. And there has to be some information about the day it took place, the time. If you accuse Trump and you have a window of like 6 months of him committing an atrocious crime within a window of 6 months, and then he says, it never happened, and Trump says, you're a liar, I don't understand how that's defamation. I don't think that any attorney can explain how that's defamation. Now, again, with Trump, it's all political. So this is not a criminal trial, it's a defamation trial. And also, he was president of the United States of America when he made those comments. And Stormy Daniels also sued Trump for defamation, and she lost to Trump. So I think it's very tough to prove. In New York, anything's possible because they despise Trump. But on appeal, it could very well be that any verdict against Trump is overturned. I think it will be overturned. Okay, plus, he was president. So in addition to a crime that had a time span of about 6 months, he was president. See, again, and hit subscribe to this channel to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications. Go to hagoodman.com. Become part of a newsletter. Email me at contactgoodman88@gmail.com. And to my new Patreons, thank you. The super thanks, thank you. I've actually been slowing down a bit on the channel. Some really, really awesome things taking place. Really awesome things. And, of course, I'll get back to my usual schedule actually May 1st. So you'll get 4 to 5 or 3 to 4 at least videos and, of course, live streams. But our country has been obsessed. Half of our country is obsessed with hating and obsessing over and condemning and judging and demeaning and disparaging Trump. We have a terrible foreign policy. We're 90 seconds to midnight, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. We are talking about nuclear confrontation with you-know-who in Europe. We've recreated the Cold War. And this is a terrible foreign policy for a number of reasons. And there's other hot spots throughout the world. We didn't have these problems with Trump. Categorically, you could draw a T-chart. Real wages down, real wages up under Trump, inflation through the roof, inflation at 2% with Trump. His last year in office, those weren't his policies. Those were Democratic governors tanking their economies, and now there were toilet paper runs. Now there's bank runs, and you're going to see more bank runs. We had record low poverty with Trump. Our poverty rate is increasing. We had record highs of household median income with Trump. So, again, the obsession with Trump is not rational to me. This is a defamation case, not a criminal case. And because of the time span, I think that the defamation case will eventually go to Trump. Thank you.